Welcome to the Nighttime Show podcast. I am your guest announcer, Logan Gunselman, with the enigmatic head writer, Matt Walker. And sitting to my left is the man, the myth, and the legend, Rick Overton, who currently is on Showtime's I'm Dying Up Here as the fictitious Nick Bombardier, the booker of the Tonight Show. So I'm sure everyone is just amped as hell to know that. And now, without further ado, the king and the scholar, Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Yay! You did it, Logan. You did it.
Was that okay?
That was perfect. That was a perfect. You did a perfect job.
I feel like Logan has a career on NPR in her future.
God,
just destined.
I feel like I would get hired and fired so fast. They would like my voice and then see me at one office party and be like, get out.
If we could only learn to harness that energy, this city would be the gleaming jewel of the West.
Rick Overton, it is an absolute honor and privilege to have you on the show. You have done the Nighttime Show live twice, which is super fucking cool of you to come do that and screw around with us.
Yeah, thank you.
But my God, I mean, when Matt called me yesterday when we were talking about, we were like, we got to find someone to come on, be on the show, and be here. Instead of Mike Black, our regular announcer, to have Logan here instead. We were like, we should find someone who likes movies and likes comedy. And I was like, yeah, but more importantly, someone who loves the entertainment industry, because you, my dear friend, have been working and being in movies and television for a long time and fucking killing it for a long time.
Thanks, man.
I mean, you're
lucky break,
But here's the thing: is though a lot of times we have actors on our show. Like we just had what's his name, Jess Harnell on the show, who's a voiceover guy. He was in Animaniacs. And we sat down with him, and he's such a talent. Great guy. But you look at a guy like that's resume, and, on IMDb, and as an actor, 200 IMDb credits as an actor, right? But when you're a voiceover actor, that's kind of normal. You
did 3 in one day.
Yeah.
3 of those credits you knocked off in one day.
But
there's days like that for voice people who are busy.
Yeah. But here's the thing is,
nuts.
man, you have 171 IMDb credits as an actor, and I know you've done voiceover work, but I know you mostly from seeing your damn face, which is fucking incredible, man.
Well, it's been
a lot.
And this face, jeez.
I know.
So,
all faces,
it's incredible luck.
Of all faces to pick, my God,
wound up with this one. So
how do they do this?
They just keep moving and shoot from the side and the back.
Yeah, no, it's really, really incredible.
Oh, thanks, man. I had a series of wonderful, lucky things. It's what you do with your luck. You try to keep it,
Yeah.
No, you get it every now and then. Try to keep it. That's your life.
Yeah. I mean, you're where did you grow up?
Started out in Forest Hills, New York.
Yeah.
My father was a jazz musician. He taught at Juilliard, worked with Thelonious Monk, and Dizzy Gillespie moved out to Englewood, New Jersey. So we moved out to Englewood, New Jersey to be near them. And so we lived in Englewood, which was considered right across the bridge. It's sort of where Eddie Murphy lives and where we lived down the hill from there in the more middle-class part,
Wow.
Where the artists who were hanging in there they were living. And so that's where we lived.
Oh, my God.
The suburb of New York.
That's cool. What did your parents do for a living when you were growing up?
My dad taught at Juilliard in the New School.
Right.
And arranged, and my mother used to be one of the Chordettes, Lollipop, Mr. Sandman.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
And not the recording version, because the way the ink spots sort of farm out a little bit. Well, one of the gals got pregnant and couldn't get into the zip-up gown, but Mom could, so she became a new Chordette and then went out on the road. And toured right after the recordings with car shows and stuff like that. But before that, she was on the Ray Heatherton show, the Heathertones on the Burt Park show. And she was on the black and white TV with tap dancing Winchester cigarette carton suit on your body, My Favorite Year.
Yeah, of course.
She was one of those people doing entertainment on a variety show like that every week.
So you're at least second generation show business. Were your grandparents also in the business? Or?
No. My grandmother was a suffragette. She was fiercely intellectual woman for women's rights and things like that. But she was a Republican, back when Republican meant a different word.
Yeah, different thing back then.
She wouldn't recognize the word now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's changed. It's changed
Yeah.
enormously.
My grandfather, he was a physicist. He worked on. They brought him in for the Manhattan Project, but he was one of the ones that believed erroneously that you set off a bomb and it just keeps going and eats Earth, and then you have a star sitting with a moon going around it. So he was wrong about that, but he was one of the guys that was offered it to work on it because he was the editor of Power magazine back then.
That was one of the fears about the CERN Super Collider. Was like some people had the belief they're like, if you smash these particles together, it might just rip a black hole into the middle of the Earth, and then we're all going to be gone. But
yeah, it's like almost.
I like that we take chances, though.
Yeah.
Like that. You know, we're
like somebody,
well,
it's like somebody with a PhD sincerely believed that, and you could make an argument about it, and everybody else is like, we'll try it anyways.
Yeah, there's a guy with a bottle of Corbel who's ready to mess with reality.
They're like, honestly, what are we protecting? Let's go.
Yeah, well, at this point, not much.
Yeah, right.
What was your first step into the acting industry?
I did a film back in New York with, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was back in the 70s. I was in a comedy team with Roger Sullivan. We were Overton and Sullivan, and it was a dating, kids going out on a dating kind of movie from that mid-70s era, you know. And that was the first time I played someone with a camera. Oh, no, my first thing was I did a sketch for Electric Company with Morgan Freeman when I was a kid. Because my aunt worked for the Electric Company. Jean Swain, so she got me in there to be in a sketch. So I got to be just a guy shopping and meeting and asking a question to Morgan Freeman. That was it, and that's my first thing on camera.
Yeah.
That wasn't a home movie. That's the first one that wasn't my mom and dad.
Your first credit that's listed on IMDb. Do you know what it is?
Young Doctors in Love.
Nope, it's before that.
Oh, A Show Must Go On.
Close, getting closer. No, it's not. That's not.
The Road Show.
Nope. Saturday Night Live, audience member.
Oh, audience member. Yeah, I'm in the audience.
1978.
Yeah.
Was that real?
They plant a thing on you and they throw a quote on top of it.
Oh, right.
I had auditioned for the show already once by that time and got
Whoa.
close. I came down again to The Wire, and Charlie Rocket got it for the 1980 season with Gene Domanion. I have a lot of
Fucking
weird
Charlie
close
Rocket.
calls. I got. Do you know on I'm Dying Up Here on Showtime?
Yeah.
I play the Tonight Show booker.
Yeah.
The story is one of the reasons I'm Tonight Show booker. The irony being you remember when Joan Rivers had the big blow up fight with Johnny because they stole half of his crowd away for half an hour.
Yeah.
There was a big blow up that night, and there was a comedian on that night. I'm the comedian that night.
Whoa!
So I'm associated with the blow up. So they hated me after that.
Oh my God!
And then,
really?
And so after that, it was kind of tough to get back on there and
Yeah.
everything like that. So and now I'm playing the guy who books it.
So you were on Joan's show.
That's perfect. I love how this business
How long
works.
did that show last for Joan Rivers? It was only about 6 months, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you pick
But she
sides
fought for
and-
me, man. She fought to get me on the Tonight Show. It's just who knew the timing was going to come out like that.
Yeah.
God, that's brilliant.
Look, she was in my corner.
Wow, man, oh man. Now, your big breakout, I would say, would probably be. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Is Beverly Hills Cop? Would that be the first big breakout, or is the big breakout Airplane 2?
No, Airplane 2 was just a quickie.
Yeah.
I'm just holding the Bible. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and he gives me 5 with the Bible. And I give him 5 back. I was supposed to be on the moon base. I was originally booked to be the whoosh, whoosh guy who makes the sound for the door and is walking around with William Shatner, but it didn't work out for me to be in the scene with William Shatner.
Amazing.
Is it too tall or?
His loss.
I don't know what the mechanics were behind it, but suddenly I'm not in the scene.
Did Beverly Hills Cop feel like Did that feel like the movie? That kind of took things to another level.
Well, it was a chance to improvise. We improvised a lot of that scene.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever improvised like that on camera. For sure. And I took that dude with me everywhere afterwards. I want to do something like that forever. We're playing around. We're going back and forth. We're Meisnering it a little bit, you know. And I gave Eddie the joke about, you're going to look up, you better check all your files, or I'm going to bring the IRS here to look up your ass with a microscope, one of those iron ones from school. And so I got, so we were sort of bonding on the throwing one-liners at each other kind of thing. You know?
And you'd been doing stand-up, though, at this point
for
quite a while. So when did you start doing stand-up?
72.
Mm-hmm. In New York?
Mm-hmm. Jersey and New York. And then I hung out with Roger Sullivan. Mm-hmm. And we did a team for a few years. And this team is great till you start getting paid. And you're artists until the moment you're paid. And then, here's the thing about getting paid as a team. Mm-hmm. You're only paid for the increment of time.
Yeah.
You're not paid twice because there's
you
two
get
of
half
you.
as much.
You have to break that in half and then figure out who's more meritorious for each chunk, you know?
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that just creates every problem in the universe.
Yeah.
Unless you just fair and square it down the middle, unless one of you has the car, but the other's paying gas, and what about the food? And the arguing car goes down the road to the next gig.
Yeah.
And it can break things up. It was so easy when we weren't getting shit for it.
When you were just free gigs. It was easy,
Hey, man, we were both brilliant.
So
for free.
Who did you work with a lot back then? Like in the late 70s in New York, when you were coming up as a comic, you started in 72.
Like
Andy Kaufman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm his prototype, gets the pitcher of water on the head for Tony Clifton.
What? Really?
I'm the first guy he loaded and tried it on because he called to the Improv and said he was going to do it. Mm-hmm. And so he had me sit through the whole show and bail on Roger and say, we can't do the team. Why? Because I can't look like I'm a guy from the stage as I sat down.
Yeah.
I got to look like I'm here the whole show, like I'm just some guy. Because he's going to pull me up and then do, you want to see a real joke splash? Mm-hmm. And then I got to go out the side door, and then I go in the bar and wait for the end of the show. And so, he did it and then got everybody furious at him.
Yeah.
You boo, you asshole. And then he gets the bongo out, and I was only going to make you laugh. And he starts to do remember the big bongo routine?
Yeah,
then he wins them back with a song and a bongo. Wow. It's the most amazing thing to turn. He was like fucking with people to the point where he's going, I'm going to make you hate me and then love me. Because you're like a turd in the kitty litter box of the city here.
He's the only comic I can think of that actually tried to make people really dislike him just because he felt like it.
That's amazing.
Like the rest of us were always like, no, I want them to like me. I want to do whatever I can. Please like me. And he's just like, fuck you.
Did he bring you a spare shirt?
No.
Do you feel like
just dry off? Just sit out there with a beer and dry off.
Have you seen anybody else try to pull off what Andy?
No. I've seen him only go halfway and just left him hating.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
Not the liking apart again, because they didn't have the childlike baby-like innocence and those hurt, wounded eyes that could win you right back. Scared, wounded eyes. An emotional eraser to scrub. Everything you were just feeling just got etch-a-sketched away.
Oh, my God. Mm-hmm. Did you feel like he did a solid job, Jim Carrey, playing him in that movie?
Genius.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant, right?
It was absolutely, stunningly, breathtakingly accurate.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, that's such a great film.
Yeah.
My God. Here's a fun one. Here's a fun one for you. We're gonna do a quick deep cut. This is a thing we like to call a deep cut. Ready, Logan? You and me are gonna say it together. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Deep cut.
In 1986, you did 2 episodes of a TV show called Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color.
I used to watch that.
What was happening there? What happened at that point? Can you walk us through a little bit of that? What is that?
That's the overall heading. I've just done a couple of Disney
that was
shows
the
there.
that was the anthology show they had.
Yeah.
It was Amazing Stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was like
with Toby
episode,
Hooper,
who
just left us,
Oh.
Yeah.
and Dick Shawn, who left us.
Okay. All right.
But the name of the California Adventure show for a while was
World of Color. They did. Yeah.
I don't know if it's
just a name they use.
Yeah.
I
Is
think
that
that's
what
the
it was?
overall. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's
I
the
think-
overall heading for that.
I think that was the series. That was like an anthology series that was on like Sunday nights because I used to watch it after 60 Minutes with my parents, and I used to
Amazing
watch that
Stories.
show. And it was like Amazing Stories or World of Color, and then they
World
have
of Color was like that, right?
And they were like, "Oh, here's a story this week about a bear in Montana," and it was like a thing, and the bear would talk.
When I had the beard, I'd be a redneck. I did, some redneck stuff, like that movie with Rutger Hauer. Mm-hmm. I played a hitman in that with Nick Cassavetes. It's called Blind Fury.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, you were also in the movie Tracks. Tracks as battle his way through El Salvador, the Middle East, and Nicaragua.
It's a lot of
spinning
places.
lead with two-handeds of good grace. He decides to retire to a life of baking design cookies.
Yeah.
Running out of dough to buy more dough, he hires himself out as the town tamer. Tracks! I fucking love the 80s so much. My favorite movie, and it's one of my top 10 favorite movies of my entire life. It changed like my trajectory of the things that I love about film, and made me want to sword fight at all the Renaissance fairs. Was a movie called Willow that you were in. This is that's a beast. That's Ron Howard directing, written and produced by George Lucas.
Lord of the Rings before the rings.
Seriously, with an amazing. I mean, with Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis. That movie also changed technology too. There was a lot of.
They invented morphing.
Yeah, right.
Morphing was invented for him to turn the goose into the tiger into the old lady. With the wand at the end, as he gets the spell wrong and then finally gets it right.
Yeah, yeah.
And what year was that?
That
89.
89.
And you think it was only like 2 years later they do Terminator 2, which was all morphing for the T-2000.
Yeah.
And like that whole thing, it's like amazing how much.
Well, one technology became the
jumped.
next,
Yeah.
which then led to the, what do they call it, with a half circle of cameras that all take a still, so you freeze, and then you morph from photo to photo to make a continuous action. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
I'm into all that stuff too. I've had my history as I'm at the weird cusps of technology. Sometimes I helped sell mocap.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was 4
walk
comedians,
us through that, please.
Motion capture, get up, like Golem, like Andy Serkis.
The like black suit with ping pong balls that people wear.
Right, the heavy early version. This is years and years ago. Jill Talley and Tom Kinney and Bobcat Goldthwait and Scott Thompson and we all played different animated characters.
Yeah.
And to backers for money for it. And they bought it after that.
What?
We helped sell mocap.
And you guys put on these
a
big,
funny
heavy...
show, a presentation for backer money for mocap.
Oh my god!
So
At what point do you walk in with the weird outfit?
They
like
give
the
you a
top of it or the bottom?
hat. Yeah, Jill wore my body. I wore and the head, and I did the voice. And but Bobcat did his own thing. He says, back then it weighed a ton, and the head ring with the cameras with those and the arms and the early cameras.
Yeah,
and everything weighed really. It gave you a headache with pointy things, and you had to wear silver points. You'd sweat off, and you moved too much, and your face could go out of calibration and just blur.
Whoa.
And during the live show, you have to really move very carefully with your mouth and eyes so that it won't get scared and blur.
Yeah,
because it's the first generation of this shit,
Holy shit!
But it's sold. And we're all driving. I don't know how many of them are driving home wondering this, but I was driving home thinking, did I just inadvertently replace myself in the industry? Because I was so dazzled with the coolness factor of it. What have I done?
God, that's fascinating. And it's changed. I mean,
it's like
changed everything.
We went to Hologram USA where they do like the Tupac hologram at Coachella or whatever.
Right,
and we were there, and it was like we were talking to them, and I was thinking, when they merge this with computer animation, like, who needs a human being anymore? Like, it's just, they've got it. Like,
Tinder
you don't need
is
it.
done for sure.
Tinder is over. Hollow Tinder.
I love it. I love it. Were you on? You were on green screen for almost for most of
Blue.
On
there
blue
wasn't
screen.
green screen yet.
Blue
they were
screen
staying in
back
blue
then.
register then.
What was
giant set? Giant. There was a lot of the Tucker stages from the movie Tucker, where where that was the factory. They were building the Tuckers. They stripped it out. We Kevin Pollak and I would. We were the two brownies, and we would sit in the freezing, knowing in the early part of the day we're freezing to death, and they're stabbing us with the wet leopard paw makeup, and and I have my wig to keep me warm. He has his rat head to keep him warm. And then as the day goes on, we're the happiest guys on the set because we're half naked and everyone else is sweating balls in the lights. Because there's no hotter set than a blue screen soundstage. Everything is so
just
all in the family lighting. 70s bright.
Yeah.
No discernible light source,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to do that because without
Back
that,
then.
the shadow. Yeah, I mean, Even still, sometimes when you rent these green screen stages, they just blow the lights out on the place, so that way there's no shadows, and then, you don't have to deal with anything.
You don't have to mop it up later.
Oh my God, that must have been a lot of fun. Did you get to meet Warwick Davis when you were doing that?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we weren't in the scenes with him because obviously we weren't in the scenes with anybody.
Right. Yeah.
But we met up a lot later and talked. Certainly during looping and other things like that, we got to chat. And
so cool.
never hung out with Val, though. And just ran into him once at the Improv. That's it.
Whoa, weird.
Of all these years. Yeah. I know we're friends on Facebook now, but, that's everybody's friends on Facebook now.
Right,
Yeah.
sure.
Why was he at the Improv?
He's hanging out, just watching a show, getting a laugh.
Oh my God.
He's a funny guy.
That.
Did you see him in
People go.
MacGruber? The movie MacGruber?
Yeah,
did
yeah,
not
of
see
He
course.
was hilarious in that. He was
Really?
fantastic.
All right, here's another one. Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah.
Such an incredible, great movie. I know
I
that's
love
It's
that.
my
I
only
love that
musical.
movie.
It's my only time I'm singing in a musical.
Really?
I'm in the gym and they're playing a song and we memorize it once and we hear it and is everybody ready? Pretend you're doing the line while you're on the bicycle.
Oh my God.
That's all it is, and then, okay, everybody, back to one.
I love it. Julie Brown and I got to work together a couple years ago. And,
Where?
on Nickelodeon, on the Nickelodeon show.
Oh, great.
And we had this chat that I thought was really neat. She wrote that movie for herself to star in that movie, and they bought the movie and then went, "Oh, it's gonna be Gina Davis."
Gina Davis.
You're
See, I
out.
remember the story.
And she was like, "Oh, really? Well, then I'm rewriting it, bitches." And she went in and wrote herself a role and wrote herself a song.
Heck yeah.
And that's how
Heck
she's in
yeah.
the
You
movie.
got to cover your ass. You
Yeah.
don't leave it up to them.
Yeah, no, I love that. I thought that was so
Where's
fucking
my
cool.
song you were going to write me?
Yeah.
It don't work like that.
Oh man, what a good time! I love that movie so much.
I do love that. Just the solution is, well, we'll just shave them and they'll be so hot. Like that was
Yes.
like that was because I remember seeing it and being pretty young and being like, oh my God, they're all you have to do is just get a razor and they're all human. Why? That makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
it totally makes sense that an alien would be like that.
There's a movie that you worked on that I would love you to. I'd love some explanation for it, and it's one of these films that I haven't gotten to see because I don't think it's on iTunes or available out there. It's a movie called That's Adequate.
I looked for it. I
can't find it either.
I did a quick little bit in it. It was a series of sketches.
Yeah,
It was a variety thing.
I think there's a trailer on YouTube for it.
Yeah,
But
and you remember like Groove Tube and Kentucky Fried? It had that feel to it a little bit with a social edge and a message on top.
Yeah, this was Tony Randall, Jerry Stiller, Ann Mira, Robert Downey Jr. was Albert Einstein in
It's a
this.
great cast.
Richard Lewis was in it.
Right.
I love that kind of stuff.
I was ages ago.
Yeah, it's like a good, fun, weird. Bruce Willis is in it playing himself. It's one of those things, man. When and Bud Friedman's in it doing stand up. And you're doing it says you're playing a stand-up, he's playing a stand-up, and Sinbad and Rich Scheidner. That's where it happened. When we had Rich Scheidner on the podcast, I brought this up to him and asked him to kind of walk us through it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love stuff like this where you're like, this seems like an interesting.
Yeah, right.
I like that the tagline for that movie was "No money, no class, no shame."
That's it.
It's so fucking great and weird.
It sounds like my life now. So.
In a world with no money, no class, there is no shame.
Oh yeah. No, you were also in The Rocketeer, one of my other favorite movies.
Yeah,
of all
Joe
time.
Johnston called up. We'd met on Willow.
Really?
He was on the effects team of Willow, and we stayed friends. And he said, "You want to come down to the set?" And we were doing the ballroom with the big ice sculpture and fly around with the gangsters? And I said, oh, hell yeah, I do. He says, do you want to be in the movie? I said, Christ, yeah. And he goes, do you want to be in the trailer? I said, how can we guarantee that? He says, you're saying the name of the movie.
What?
That's
really?
awesome.
I say the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
I
you're the
go,
guy who says the Rocketeer?
That's the man from the newspapers. It's the flying man. I go, why, it's the Rocketeer.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that so much. That's awesome.
That's a great trick. I never had thought of
Holy
that.
shit.
Yeah.
Was that a nice set? Were they not?
Oh, it's amazing.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah,
right?
it's the way it looked, but with I can see the wires.
And this is
Yeah.
that's around the time you had your first HBO special, right?
A little bit later, just shortly after.
Yeah. What was that like when you went from?
It wasn't my first. It was the first my own one.
Oh,
I
you
wasn't just a
you-
participant in.
'Cause you'd
And the
done-
ones in the 80s I was in with everybody else,
Yeah. Were you on the Young Comedians one back then? Yeah. Who was on the Young Comedians with you?
Seinfeld, Harry Anderson, Howie Mandel.
That's a great lineup.
Yeah.
Did you read Fred Stoller wrote a book
Yeah.
about his experience on that? It's really fascinating to have him go through like the careers of the 5 other people that he did it with and think like, oh, okay, yeah, like Jan Krams had a nice career, but she didn't become huge, but she's had a very nice career working, and he's had a nice career working. But then you look at Rob Schneider and David Spade, in his instance, were the ones that really blew up, and then the story of the 2 who didn't really have any of that happen. And it's kind of interesting to look back. Like, was there anybody like that who you did that special with, and you're like, this guy's really funny, and then it just never happened for him?
Well, one special I had was with Charlie Barnett, and he ran into some health troubles and he didn't make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very funny though. Yeah.
It's kind of amazing.
He went on a sad path.
That's too
Yeah,
bad.
it's amazing how that happens in this business, though. Like, you see some people, and you're like, they have it all, like everything you want to see, and then sometimes it's either health problems or self-destruction, and then it just
doesn't
quite work.
Crazy roll of the dice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy those embraced or not embraced moments. It's up to you.
Yeah, right.
Embrace them.
So, and how did you go from being club comic, touring on the road, you're doing movies and all that kind of stuff, of course, then how did you get that HBO special? Like, did you
Robin
just meet the right
Schlein
people,
and
or-
Sue Wolf fought for me and got me the special. So that's how I got on. And they helped direct it and produce it, and it's one of the favorite things of my whole career.
Yeah.
The half hour.
Yeah.
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 Because I remember watching that. I was in
It was a good
college at the time. It was about 91.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Because I remember watching that in like the early 90s, not when it was new, because I didn't have HBO back then, but when I was in college a couple years later. I remember watching that. And I remember yours. I remember Wendy Liebman's. Just
Oh, yeah.
to this day, Wendy Liebman's is still one of my all-time favorites. Like, I
She,
can remember
I
some of
say
her
she
jokes.
California stops through her jokes.
Yeah.
You know where the California stop is? You just roll past the
Yeah.
stop sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And just start into the next intersection already. That's what
Yeah.
she does. She doesn't give you a break. You just have to catch up and run up to the next joke while you're laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a good reference. I
That's
like that.
absolutely right,
That's
yeah.
a good. That's
She
a good
rolls
term.
right through. Doesn't wait for you.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great. There were a lot of great half hours back in there, but I mean, I remember watching yours and be like, "This is so funny." So
Oh,
I love her
She's
style.
she's
Thank you.
amazing.
Yeah.
Such a talent.
Oh, she made a style. A lot of people very influenced by that style, that roll through style. You know.
yeah,
Now there is a TV show that this guy sitting to my left has watched every single episode of.
Okay.
Repeatedly.
Okay.
Repeatedly knows it through.
I'm
and
pretty
through.
sure I know what you're talking about.
Now, and the more that him and I have spoken about it, the more that I've gone back and I just keep going and watching this damn show again and again and again. And it is it's one of the best television shows in history.
Talking about him being the Drake on Seinfeld.
You being the Drake on the sign.
There's supposed to be a real Drake.
What?
Yeah.
There's supposed to be real people. He uses real people. There's
Yeah.
a real Joe Davola, crazy
Yeah.
Joe Davola. There's a real
guy,
Joe
yeah.
Davola, producer Joe Davola, comedy producer. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So he would do, I guess he was just doing it to sort of bust Joe's balls, This is a hilarious practical joke is name the nut after you on a show,
Oh my God. What? Walk us through that process
Well-
of how that all went down.
I went in, I auditioned for the Drake, and I cried, which wasn't in the script, but I thought, what if I cry? And I just told Larry, because Larry's in the room, I said, well, and I said, because it would make their skin crawl. They hate emotion already.
Yeah.
Right.
And they really hate it when you're crying. And so at the end, oh God, it's over. Oh, and then we talk about the restaurant. I think Gagliano's is pretty good. You know, keep the crying through it, and just make them like, we have to get out of here. You know, so because I added an element that helped get it.
Yeah, and they
doesn't always work that way, but improv. Everybody study improv. I think that's.
Did you have friends after that for a while? Just were like every time you like, I hate the Drake, hate the Drake. Yeah. Like it must be. That was like a great. Catch line.
To this day, they'll say it sometimes. Yeah. it sort of has an echo.
Yeah, because if you haven't seen that episode of Seinfeld and you're listening,
it's the handicap parking spot episode.
And they buy a big screen TV to give to you and your fiance who are getting
Elizabeth
married.
Dennehy, daughter of
Brian Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy.
Yeah,
and
then
she is a magnificent talent, just like Pop.
Yeah. Oh man!
Well, in that episode, you and your fiance split up, but you keep the TV, and the four are coming over to try to get it back, and then you cry, and
No, they have to get it. They take it back, and they have to return it, pretending they're charity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got the shit beat out of it. Yes. George's dad's car.
Yeah. Because that's when they parked in a handicap spot when they were buying
without the
it.
Tags. People just beat the shit out of the car.
And then there was a woman in a wheelchair. Then they got the woman with a wheelchair, and then it's used, and she goes down a hill at the end. And it's all good times.
Now, I know that you were very close with Robin Williams. Did you have to audition for Miss Doubtfire, or was that?
I did, but it was in a room that was on my side.
Oh, wow.
They were professional, and and they're fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they gave everybody the chance they should have had.
That's nice.
But, I got the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some extra clips we did that you can see. I think it's on the DVD of the other outtakes of running back and forth. Chris let us do some stuff where he's tipping me and running back and forth.
Right.
And getting drunker and drunker and trying to hide his makeup and it's falling off and all that stuff.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, that's one of the greatest movies of all time.
It's a perfect comedy.
Yeah. It really
Well, speaking of perfect comedies, you're in Groundhog Day.
I'm luckily in another perfect comedy there as well.
Yeah.
I'm in two perfect comedies.
I had a fucking Groundhog Day poster on the back of my door growing up. Like I'm not growing up, but as a teenager, like it was like on the back of my door because I loved Groundhog Day.
About redemption, man.
Oh man, I had the soundtrack. I used to just sit around and listen to the soundtrack for that, and then I learned his piano part that he played in the movie. I learned how to play it in real life.
Did you learn ice sculpture?
I did not learn ice.
Yeah, like learn everything he does in that movie.
I wanted to. I thought he was so cool in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, what a great.
What was Bill Murray like to work with?
He's, into his part a little bit, and there's days when he's friendly and fun, and other days when he's just off being Bill.
Did you know him before that? Because you mentioned you'd auditioned for
Always
SNL.
Nice with me. What's that?
Like you mentioned you'd auditioned for Saturday Night Live back in the day. Like had you met Bill Murray before that, or was that sort of your first experience?
Briefly. I knew the SNL guys just from hanging out in the auditions and hanging at the after parties in the 70s,
Yeah.
But I can't say we were really friends.
Like just meeting and passing.
In passing, that's right.
I love it. Here's a fun one. Weird Al show. Did you?
Oh yeah.
Did
I
you
was
know?
the molasses man that couldn't get away from the guy driving the Brian Haley, I think, is the guy driving the villain who's driving the steamroller, and because I'm so slow motion, I'm trying to run away and I can't. And he just runs me over.
With that, because we have the Hurricane Harvey that comes along. I remember on the Weird Al show we had Harvey the Wonder Hamster, and every time I hear the name Harvey, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
And then there's this terrible hurricane that's causing all destruction.
Harvey is a bad. It's like such a hack premise / bit at all, but it's like Harvey is such a non-threatening name for such a horrible thing. You just imagine.
I feel like the names for hurricanes they've jumped the shark. Like we've got bad names for hurricanes now, like Hurricane Ike and Hurricane Hugo and Irene, and they were like tough sounding names. Now Harvey is causing destruction.
How about Hurricane Exxon?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's more.
Hurricane BP.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hurricane Bank of America.
B of A. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Hurricane Equifax.
Yeah. My God.
Hurricane TransUnion.
All of that. Yeah.
Yeah, why can't
one
you
after
sponsor
the next?
A hurricane?
Yeah,
Why
why
can't
aren't they
you sponsor a
sponsoring
state?
her?
Like a highway.
Yeah. Adopt a hurricane.
Well, I was wondering. I looked this up and I was like, the people who are really profiting this are the news agencies. But like, what does CNN do for like donating to disaster relief? Like, they're actually the only ones who are profiting off this. Like, do they give money to disaster relief? I don't know.
That's a great question, man.
Yeah, they should be if they're not.
I would assume.
I hope so.
Or maybe I'm dumb for assuming.
Yeah.
I'll Google that later. That's what I'm going to do with my night. I'm going to Google what news organizations to give to charity. Hey, what are you drinking over there, Steven?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the show with that loud sip, but I'm drinking Fireball whiskey, the greatest whiskey in the history of the world.
I agree.
I love Fireball whiskey. I mean, I can share some with you guys if you guys want some.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I always bring Fireball whiskey because it's an instant party. It's where the party gets started, and it's sometimes where the party ends because you drink it until you're just,
flying high
and hanging tough.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a boy band.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, you take a shot.
Okay.
There you go. Whoa. Hey.
Oh, that's good stuff.
That's so good, right? Hey, Glazer, you take a shot. Take a shot.
Oh, it helped my sunburn.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Holy cow, I feel great.
Man, I'll tell you what. There's nothing better for a good afternoon than a shot of Fireball whiskey. The greatest thing to come out of Canada since me. All right, let's get back to the show. When you got cast on Curb Your Enthusiasm, was that time around? Was it? Now you're back in the room with the same guys that you worked with on Seinfeld.
I had less to do. There's so many other people in the scene. I mean, it's jammed. I was in the baptism scene where Mitch is going to marry a shiksa, and they're going to stop it from happening because Larry thinks they're just drowning a Jew,
Oh, my
and so
God.
he runs into the water and stops them. I'm the head of the WASP division of the young lady's household, and Mitch is then talked out of marrying her. And Larry destroys the marriage at the end of the episode with the bum.
What's your what's your favorite? Do you have a couple favorites that we haven't mentioned? Like are there pieces of your
The
career
Informant?
Yeah.
With Matt Damon, Soderbergh film, and watching Matt. I play his boss. And a lot of comedians are in that film. Have you seen that
Bill
film?
Burr's in that movie.
Yeah. You have a huge array of comedians being completely poker straight serious in their acting work, and they're all showing the goods.
Yeah.
A to Z, they're all good actors, all of them.
Yeah.
Proud to see it. It's an amazing film. Rent it and look at it. It's about this corporate guy who they hire. I mean, the feds hire. Or not hire, they stick a wire on him, and he's going to go in and make them listen, see if there's fraud going on. They don't realize they're planting the wire on a guy who's a bigger fraud than all of them.
Yeah.
But he's also, because he's got a mental condition, he's such a good pathological liar, he keeps it up. And he's playing everybody against everyone. And it's all true. So all these people who are jokesters are playing straight because the story's the joke, and it's all true.
Yeah, that's the best way to do something. We've been talking about that at my work recently. That like if you're gonna do something funny, if the storyline is gonna be funny, you can cast a bunch of comedians or make sure you have funny people playing it straight so that the timing is right.
Right.
Because the people always think, if it's funny, anybody can do it, even if it's like a serious role, like anyone can do it. And it's like no. Get people with great timing, and it'll all work itself out.
It'll find its own way.
Yeah, let them guide it. Yeah. Like don't just assume that anybody can do this shit.
And the same can be said for I'm Dying Up Here. Lots of comedians doing fantastic acting work. Al Madrigal.
Oh, he's so good.
God damn, he's good. Everybody's good.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Eric Griffin's great.
Yeah.
So fierce and angry from Vietnam.
God.
Everyone's got a wonderful piece.
I've known
Andy Santino, great.
Terrific. I had no idea that Eric Griffin could
Look at the power in those scenes.
Do that.
Didn't it just prove something great about what we do and what else we could do, not just what you
blew
think.
My mind.
Right?
Blew my mind.
Yeah, the show is wonderful.
Yeah,
we got to have a second season on this show.
It should
for the outfits alone, I think.
Right, polyester. What are we going to do with them? We need to have a show for them.
Now, you did stand up in that era, but were you just back in New York? Did you get to the Comedy Store at that time?
No.
You don't have any memories of that?
Not that. I had Catch and
Catch
Improv, and then later the, Comedy Cellar and Comic Strip.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
They came a little later.
Wow.
in the 70s.
Is that a fun set to work on? This I'm
Dying Up Here's fan. Oh, it's amazing.
I haven't missed an episode. I've watched every episode of it.
Isn't it great?
It's
Oh my God,
fucking
Melissa
incredible.
Leo's work. She has to win something.
Yeah, no, are the nominations out already for Emmys and for this season? Like, can they be nominated?
I don't think the nomination's been announced yet because I keep seeing billboards still of like, please consider. For
I'm getting
consideration.
the cards still.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, because I really feel like the show should get nominated for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
I think
yeah.
it's a terrific show, and I'm
It should at least win Best Vehicle with Rick Overton.
yes,
For sure.
absolutely.
For sure. Best show with Rick Overton this year. For sure.
No, I mean,
Shoot it.
dude,
That's my car up the street.
God, Melissa
Hands down.
Leo, watching her do Mitzi Shore is so fucking incredible. Like,
Right. She lives in a universe where there is a Mitzi.
Yeah.
Mitzi exists in her universe. She's a competitor with Mitzi. She even says so.
Yeah.
really?
Yes, we created like a universe where there are real Richard Pryors and there are real Elaine Boozlers and so on and so forth. But there's also, separate from all of that, is this other club that's also on Sunset that you could maybe say is one day Jamie's Laugh Factory or something like that. But they're the competitor, so they get to talk about Teddy's, which is the improv.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I love like some of the great moments on there so far.
The way that you
favorites.
brought back some of those famous people on that show is really well done.
Yeah, like,
Like-
well, I love one of my favorite moments is Al Madrigal screws over the club, like screws over the Mitzi character, like,
Right.
right, and then
right.
she's like, okay, well, I'm changing your name.
Manny.
Your new name is Manny, and
Come over.
and that is what Mitzi did to Carlos Mencia.
That's right.
And it's also what she did pretty much with Andrew Dice Clay too, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of telling him
Jack
no,
Raymond was
this is
supposed to
what
be
you're-
Bananas. Jackie Banana eats a
Jackie
banana,
Bananas.
and he wears the overalls.
Yeah, and she would say you should wear a suit made of bananas. It's just all bananas.
Right.
You know,
Well, I remember
white
Renee
white suit
Sandoval
with covered in bananas.
used to
And
tell
how
us.
about Kathy Ladman's work as the
Oh,
Rhoda
she's
Barrett
so
character? Did you see
fucking
that
good.
scene that she had, and also Judy Gold's scene?
Oh, Judy Gold was amazing
That's
on the
like
show.
she deserves an Emmy for the scene, and I think Ladman too for that
Yeah.
last wonderful wrap-up scene that she
I
had at the end there,
love
running
Kathy
neck
Ladman.
and neck. Bum, bum,
Kathy
bum.
Ladman was on the Nighttime Show recently, and we fucking love each other. I love that
great.
damn woman. She is just excellent, just
Yeah,
an
man.
excellent woman, and just such a fucking hysterical comedian, like just down to play around. We played a game on the show with her called "Is It Jewish?" and where we just asked her questions that were like, putting a piece of a taco shell in the fridge to save for later. Jewish, and so like we did this,
Yeah.
like being a police officer, not Jewish, policing a
Potluck.
a potluck at your aunt's house, Jewish, like this. And we just played this with her, and she just fucking took it and played and had a
Yeah.
great time. And then this past month we did a bit with Fortune Feimster on the show, who I think is going to be the next biggest
she's-
thing in the world.
She's got to have huge things in front of her. Like, she's so good.
My
Yeah,
God,
yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah, she was in a movie with Jennifer Aniston, so we played a game with her called
was
Je-
just
it
the
was
Jennifer
a
Aniston
Jennifer
game.
Aniston trivia game. And so then we would ask her questions like, "What is Jennifer Aniston's favorite place to shop?" And she'd go, "I don't know." And we'd go, "Ross." And then the audience, and what was so funny is we knew it going in that every single answer was going to be a Friends themed answer, and the audience would groan and get angrier and angrier every time we did it. Like, what does Jennifer Aniston call her G spot? The Central Perk, and everyone would go, "Oh, fuck you!" And they all wanted to win shots.
Yeah.
So we have like the shot glasses on stage, and I'm like, "Oh, you better get this one right." And then they would not get it right, of course, because it was another trick question. It was very fun. That was like a really good time.
Yeah.
But I adore her. She's amazing. But yeah, I really, really love that show, and I really hope.
Thank you.
You're fucking great on it.
Thanks.
You really are.
Thanks. I would love to see you get some more time to spread those wings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we're just a year and a half away from SNL then,
Oof.
Yeah. You
which
can
is
get into that.
1975.
Yeah. and,
Oh,
like,
man.
Would it be actual SNL or would it be sort of a made up show in your
It
universe?
would be our universe version. Our universion.
Yeah, I hope so because I mean there's guys like like Sam Kinison you could bring in. Robin Williams would be so amazing
Gallagher?
to I don't know if Robin's around the right time, but Gallagher would be insane. There's
he
a couple,
broke.
there's a
Steve
couple of
Martin.
those.
Murray Langston.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. To bring in some of those fellas would be really incredible. I you and I got to spend. I don't want to bring the show down in a sad way, but I know that you were very very close with Robin, and I played the piano at his memorial at the Comedy Store, and I saw you speak that night. He was such an enormous inspiration to so many people.
Absolutely.
And changed so many people's lives. And everyone that, so many comedians I know, like, that's who they emulate. That's who they hope to be like. Is there anything you can tell us about Robin that would, or any stories, anything you could tell us that would be kind of neat for our kids that listen to this bullshit?
Well, I'd say aiming the flashlight inward.
Yeah, please.
That part which is what serves you, the individual. Study improv. Robin lived in a kind of perpetual state of play that way. There were times we talk seriously. He could shut it off.
Yeah.
But it was always there if he needed it to turn on again. And it came from childhood, spending a lot of time alone, and so he'd make up voices and peoples, and he idolized and adored Jonathan Winters, which I did too. That's why we became friends. We both had a central hero.
Yeah.
Jonathan, who we became friends with. I did. And he later, he would be very generous with his time. So what I say is, for you want to get some of that fun for you. You want a piece of that pie? Study improv.
Yeah.
Study improv and learn to free up that part of your subconscious. It's 1,000 times faster than your brain. Your brain will destroy you on stage. It'll abandon you and dump you roadside on stage. Your gut will save you. And your brain records it a second later and takes credit for it, because that's the kind of douchey shit the brain does. It wasn't designed to make. It's designed to repeat and record. Your gut makes. And you'll learn that in improv.
Oh.
And his gut was like a nuclear furnace. And he was generous. I think part of that abundance is you do good things for people. I always work on being good and doing good, and helping. And don't confuse mean with smart, because it isn't. That's it. And it's just like that movie, Be Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like Robin, be like Robin.
Yeah.
Try to do some of what he did with what you got.
Yeah.
And some of it's for you. Be that good to you. Play like he played, and then be that good to others, because now you know.
The best stand-up set of my entire life was at the Throckmorton up in Northern California.
I know it.
With Monty Hoffman. We went together to go do a show there together, and the reason it was the best comedy set of my entire life is because of that audience. Because that was his audience, that he had, he had molded and sculpted this town into being just open and down.
They're made of yes.
They're made of yes. They're open and ready for wherever you want to take them. Right. And you felt it, like everyone felt it on that night,
totally,
except for Monty Hoffman, who decided to do a bunch of anti-Obama material on stage and everything, and just kept saying shit like I mean, why the fuck would you want this fucking, let the guy, maybe have the guy work Def Comedy Jam, but you want him to be the president? Like, he was saying stuff like this, and the audience was like, boo! Boo!
Oh, no.
Boo you! Like, they were getting so upset.
Boy.
He was like, what do you want from me? This is not the way I talk. Give me a break.
That sounds just like him. Too.
Hey, lady, is that your face? Maybe get a fucking facelift, you dumb bitch. Like, he would say
that was it. Yeah, he thinks he's in a bar somewhere.
And you're like, buddy, just
South Boston.
Maybe he was trying to be like Andy Kaufman, the halfway, and then switch it around.
Hey, I'm just playing.
Who's up next on Stephen and Rick Discuss Dead Comedians?
Oh, God.
that's our show today.
I'm sorry. My favorite
was
thing
like, not to bring you down, but here's another guy who's dead. Let me talk about him.
I know. But you know what he did?
It's a good impression of him, though, man.
We spent some. We went on
You
the
know,
road
you
together.
know him,
Yeah.
so you got the impression.
He called me one time and said, you know who's someone who's alive that we had a situation with, who Bob Zamuda, and I got to work together, and it was amazing. It was this amazing thing. I won't say the name of the charity, but this charity asked me to put on a benefit for them at the Comedy Store. And I said, yeah, absolutely, I'll help out. And it was my job to host the show.
A charity for dying children.
Oh, no, God! Why?
Yeah.
Don't go any further than that.
That's
Just
all
leave
I'll
it
say.
there.
Yeah.
And so I'm putting on the event, and I booked amazing people: Jeff Garland, Chris D'Elia, Whitney Cummings. Like it is a
Strong lineup.
It is a strong show. All right.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I go to see them. I go to see the guy from the charity, and he turns to me and he goes, Oh, is this your girlfriend? I go, yeah, this is my girlfriend. He goes, oh, it's nice that someone would want to be with you because of your personality. That's nice, you know? And I was like, what? And he was like, you get it, right? I mean, look at her. Look at the tits on this woman. I mean, for God's sakes. You know, I mean, you must have a lot of money. Like, he just kept shitting on me.
Hey, man, I'm just busting your balls, man.
Yeah.
Come on, you're a comedian. You can take it, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I mean,
right, man? I'm just yanking your chain. I'm just sucking your dick, man.
Yeah,
I'm just fucking you in the ass, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, come on, that's
just
all
the way
I'm
you
doing.
like it. Just the way you like
Come
it,
on,
right?
man.
Yeah,
It's
and he
just doing that.
He just kept doing it, and it was
Yeah.
making me very upset and pissing off my girlfriend. And then he turns to me and he goes like this. He goes, anyways, you know, I don't know how much you know about comedy, but the comedy club said we have to book one more comedian to close out the night. So you can help me choose. It's either going to be Al Magical, or some guy named Tony Clifton. And I go, oh, Tony Clifton. And he goes, all right. And so that's who he booked, is Bob Zamuda doing Tony Clifton for a children's like kids dying sort of charity thing.
Yeah.
And I get there, and Zamuda calls me up and he's like, hey, Tony Clifton's going to meet you at Zanku Chicken, and then you're going to drive him over to the club, and then you guys are going to go rehearse together and this and that. And so I pick him up, and he's there with the whole get up, and he's like, all right, let's get this thing together, you piece of shit. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to fuck these bitches, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And we're going to have the best time of my life. And so we're like spending some time together. And I am dying. I'm dying, right? I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. That night, I go up on stage. We do the show. At the end of the show, we go, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Clifton. He comes out on stage. He goes, oh, look at all these rug munchers. He just fucking starts like ripping into people. Oh, and some guy goes, that is offensive. He goes, don't you have a dick you're supposed to fall on, for Christ's sake? Hey, people, pull it together, all right? We got bald kids to raise money for. Don't get offended. They're already dead. They're already dead, folks. And people are like booing. And then he goes, I want to take a minute real quick. I want to take a minute, get real serious. A couple nights ago, I'm over at this hotel, and I'm sitting at the bar, and I look down the bar, and who do I see but this big, fat, steaming pile of shit. What's her name? Susan Boyle. You know this Susan Boyle, this fat monster? I see her face. And I say to her, hey, you want to go back up to my place so I can?
Oh my God!
I can make sweet love to you in your asshole. Anyway, she says yes. We go up to the
she says yes.
We go hotel room. I strip her naked. My God, this woman smells like a garbage fire downstairs. And as I start making love to her, she starts singing this song. Hit it! Music starts playing, and he goes, I dreamed a dream of time on me. And he sings I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis as the audience at the Comedy Store in a sold-out room stands up and is like, fuck you, we want our money back. And they're all asking for their donation back. They want to return their silent auction items. Everyone was so fucking angry. I've never been asked to book another show. And I don't
That's
regret
hilarious.
it.
And that's how you do not win Man of the Year.
That is how you do not win the Man of the Year.
Because you were for Man of the Year, weren't you?
Yeah, for their charity, yeah. And I lost it because of doing that. But
But your
that
comic
guy.
of the year forever for that.
I get to do that material. And I saw it happen.
There was probably one drunk guy there who was like, "This is the best benefit I've ever been to."
Yeah,
the one
exactly.
guy.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of friends there that night that watched it, and we still talk about it to this day. They were like, I can't believe that I got to see that. That was insane. Like, he's the best. He's the best.
That was your springtime for Hitler.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it ever? It was the best.
Yeah.
Hey, this is so cool. Is there a way, we got to wrap up, but is there a way that people can find you on the internet? What do you got?
At Rick Overton on Twitter and
Okay.
Rick Overton's page on Facebook.
Are you planning on playing any? You have any gigs coming up? Anything you want to chat about? Anything they should be watching?
We're going to come up with some more. Don't have them right now. But I just want everybody to watch I'm Dying Up Here on Showtime.
Yeah, that is the
mission
number
one.
one. That is mission number one. Get your ass over to Showtime and watch I'm Dying Up Here. Watch the whole damn season. It's so incredible. And Rick, you're so fucking great on it.
Oh,
so,
thanks, brother. Everybody
Logan,
is.
where can people find you on the internet?
I'm sorry in advance. Okay, so I'm on Instagram at places I took a shit this year. Sorry, Rick. And I'm on Twitter at Dirty Guntz. Guntz. Again, sorry, Rick. And my name is Logan. So that's, Logan Gunselman.
I love you, Logan. You're the best.
I love that you feel like you had to apologize to Rick after he just told his story about Tony Clifton, and still you're like, I still need to apologize to Rick.
At this point, we're just acquaintances, and I just didn't need him. Well, now if you want to see all the places I've shit this year, you can follow me on
They know
Instagram.
where to find it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody wants to see.
a scat tour.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
What about you, Matthew Walker? Where can people find you on the interweb?
I have links to everything at funnymat.com, or if you want to fight with me about whether or not the new Star Trek is any good, you can do that at mattwalkersucks.com.
And people do. People do
And
go
I
there.
say it is not any good.
And it is.
I don't know. Well, hopefully, start
we'll
to Discovery,
see.
maybe. We'll see.
Hey, we'll see.
Hopefully.
All right. You can always get me
Fingers
at
crossed.
Stephen Glickman, Stephen Glickman on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to download and listen to the Nighttime Show podcast and leave us comments and share. We love you guys. Thank you so much, Rick. You're the fucking coolest.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
It's
you.
good to hang again. Fun talk.
Anytime.